আর এই বাউল হচ্ছে দেহতত্ত্ব, বাউল লীলাতত্ত্ব, বাউল রসতত্ত্ব, বাউল প্রেম তত্ত্ব, বাউল পীড়িত তত্ত্ব, বাউল সাধনা, যে আমাদের যে পিতার কিংবা আমার এই মূলধন কি করে আমি রাখবো, সেই ধরনেরও বাউলদের কাজ রয়েছে। বাউল মানে গ্রামে গঞ্জে ভিক্ষা করে সেখানে গান শুনিয়ে তাদের মনোরঞ্জন করে।
Many bauls nowadays are invited to participate in cultural program in other states and even abroad. They compose and sing songs to suit the occasions, but their lifestyle by and large remains unchanged.
Good evening. The centre has issued guidelines to states and union territories on movement of stranded persons, including migrant labourers. We'll tell you what the guidelines entail. Also on the show today, the government has given details of the encouraging agricultural trends during lockdown period, as agricultural operations were exempted from lockdown restrictions within days of the rollout of the lockdown. Our in focus tonight is agriculture overcomes lockdown odds. That and more in this edition of Newsnight. I'm Munmun Bhattacharya. Let's get started with the headlines. Centre issues guidelines to states and union territories for interstate movement of stranded persons. Now, stranded migrants, pilgrims, students, tourists and others who are stranded at different places will be allowed to move subject to conditions. States asked to develop protocols for receiving and sending those stranded. Sending and receiving states need to agree on movement by road. Agricultural operations overcome lockdown odds. Kharif sowing increases by 38% this year. Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar exudes optimism that agriculture's contribution to GDP won't be impacted. Government estimates a 3% agricultural growth rate amid expectations of a normal monsoon. Niti Aayog says adequate water availability in reservoirs to boost Kharif sowing. Offtake of fertilizers and seeds higher than last year. COVID-19 transmission rate declines in India. Doubling rate increases to 11.3 days in the last 3 days. Mortality rate in India is just 3% compared to global mortality rate of 7%. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan assures that there is no shortage of healthcare facilities in India. Government urges all its officers, employees and outsourced staff to download Arogya Setu mobile app to break the transmission chain. Active cases in India reached 22,982. Death toll reaches 1,008. 7,796 patients have recovered. Global tally of confirmed COVID-19 cases go past 31 lakh with over 2,70,000 deaths. United States is the worst hit with over 58,000 deaths, followed by Italy, Spain and France. Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar says the Modi government has not waved off even a single penny of willful defaulters. Says writing off is neither a waiver nor a clean chit to defaulter, and it does not stop banks from making efforts to recover the amount. Renowned film actor Irfan Khan passes away in Mumbai after fighting a long battle with cancer. President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed their condolences. PM terms Irfan Khan's demise a loss to the world of cinema and theatre. Says he will be remembered for his versatile performances across different mediums. Friends and family attend the funeral conducted in Mumbai. So those were the headlines. Now let's take a look at a very important development that came this evening, and that is that the centre has issued guidelines to states and union territories on the movement of stranded persons, including the migrant labourers who are stranded in different parts of the country. So let's understand what that guideline is and what really that means for states and union territories. Well, the centre has issued guidelines to states and union territories, as I've told you, and the guidelines are for interstate movement of stranded persons. Let's get into the guidelines to understand more details on what really these guidelines entail. Well, the guidelines are on interstate movement of stranded persons, and there are quite a few in this category. We'll tell you next who those stranded persons are. Well, guidelines cover stranded migrant labourers and pilgrims. There are migrant labourers that are stranded in different parts of the country. Pilgrims too are stranded at different places. Guidelines also cover tourists, students and other stranded persons. So essentially all those who are stranded in different parts of the country are included under the purview of these guidelines. States asked to designate nodal authorities and develop standard protocols. So states now have to designate nodal authorities and develop standard protocols, and those protocols are going to be for receiving and sending stranded persons. So everything has to be detailed as far as movement of various stranded persons is concerned, and states have been asked to ensure that the protocols are in place. Nodal authorities are supposed to register stranded persons within their states. So this is the job of the nodal authorities. They're going to register all those persons who are stranded within their states. Sending and receiving states must agree on movement by road. So there needs to be consultations between sending states and receiving states, and they must agree on how the movement by road needs to take place as far as these stranded persons are concerned. All persons to be medically screened at source. So at the point of departure, there will have to be medical screening. Those found asymptomatic to be allowed to proceed. So only those exhibiting no symptoms will be allowed to proceed after testing. Besides that, buses to be used for transport of groups of persons. So these groups of persons will be transported in buses. That's the kind of transport that is going to be used. Also, buses are going to be sanitized, and they'll need to follow social distancing norms in seating. So safety procedures will not be compromised in any manner. States falling on transit routes to allow passage to receiving states. So states that fall on that transit route need to allow that passage to take place. All persons to be medically screened on arrival. So at the point of departure and the point of arrival, all the persons will be medically screened. All persons to be kept in home or institutional quarantine on arrival. It will depend on the assessment that is made by the health authorities on whether home quarantine is needed or institutional quarantine is needed. All persons to be kept under watch with periodic health checkups. So there will be periodic health checkups of all the stranded persons post their arrival. Quarantine guidelines of the Union Health Ministry are to be followed. Remember, these guidelines are very much there on the Health Ministry's website. Such persons are to be encouraged to use the Arogya Setu app. This is what the centre has told the states, that encourage these people to download and operationalize the Arogya Setu mobile app. App is going to facilitate the monitoring and tracking of such persons. So it's important for all those stranded persons to download and operationalize the Arogya Setu app so that the health authorities can monitor their conditions. So now we have detailed guidelines that the centre has issued to states and union territories for the movement of these stranded persons, including migrant labourers who have been stranded for some weeks now after the imposition of the lockdown. So that's about the guidelines that the centre has issued to states and union territories on the movement of such persons. We'll take a break at this point in time, and after the break, we'll tell you about the various other stories that are there.
डीडी फ्री डिश, भारत की एकमात्र फ्री डीटीएच सर्विस। अब देखिए आपके अपने पसंदीदा चैनल डीडी न्यूज चैनल नंबर 1 पर, डीडी नेशनल चैनल नंबर 2 पर, डीडी भारती चैनल नंबर 60 पर और डीडी इंडिया चैनल नंबर 84 पर। डीडी फ्री डिश, मनोरंजन का संसार सीधे आपके द्वार।
Welcome back. You're watching News Night, and Union Minister Ashwini Chaubey has welcomed the guidelines issued by the Home Ministry for migrant workers, tourists, students and other persons who are stranded in different parts of the country, saying it will bring big relief to them.
गृह मंत्रालय का जो विशेष निर्णय आया है वो स्वागत योग्य कदम है। विशेष करके जो प्रवासी मजदूर और कोटा या अन्य जो छात्र छात्राएं दूसरे राज्यों में फंसे हुए हैं उनके लिए एक सुखद संवाद है। ये लगातार गृह मंत्रालय और प्रधानमंत्री जी के निर्देश पर फीडबैक लिया जा रहा था। मुझे लग रहा है कि ये दोनों ही बिहार के और देश के हित में हुआ और लोगों को स्वास्थ्य परीक्षण करके भेजने की तैयारी करने की बात स्पष्ट हो गई है।
During the lockdown period, agricultural operations have been exempted from restrictions, even as agricultural schemes are being implemented. As a result of that, agricultural trends are encouraging, from sowing to harvesting and from production to marketing. Here are the details.
The lockdown notwithstanding, agriculture and allied activities are continuing unaffected in India. Farming operations, fisheries, plantations and animal husbandry have been exempted from the lockdown rules, and progress of agricultural operations so far is encouraging. Kharif sowing this year is 38% higher than the last year. 88% of harvesting is also over, and the number of procurement centers have more than doubled. Food production is set to exceed the target for this year. Kharif sowing is higher than last year, and horticulture production too is higher in 2019-20 than the previous year.
कि ग्रीष्मकालीन की जो फसलें हैं उनकी बुआई का क्षेत्र इस वर्ष 57.07 लाख हेक्टेयर है, जो गत वर्ष की तुलना में 38% अधिक है। ऐसी परिस्थिति में भी आगामी बुआई प्रभावित नहीं हुई, यह हम सबके लिए निश्चित रूप से बहुत ही प्रसन्नता का विषय है। बागवानी में भी अगर हम देखेंगे तो लगातार हम प्रगति कर रहे हैं। 18-19 में 310 मिलियन टन थे हम, और 19-20 में 13.35 मिलियन टन हमारा हुआ है। तो इस दिशा में भी किसान पूरी शिद्दत के साथ प्रयास कर रहे हैं। जैसे मैंने पहले पीएम किसान का बताया,
To ensure smooth supply of essential commodities, including agriculture-related goods, interstate movement of trucks has been streamlined. Truck drivers stuck at state borders can call a call center for assistance. Meanwhile, a Kisan Rath Help Desk app has been operationalized, on which over 11 lakh vehicles are registered. It has details of transporters, vehicles and drivers, and farmers and traders can use it for logistical requirements. 60 new goods trains are also running on 66 railway lines.
इस ऐप का पूरे देश भर में किसान, व्यापारी सब लोग मिलकर बहुत अच्छे से उपयोग कर रहे हैं। वो ऐप पर जा सकते हैं और ऐप पर जाकर वो देख सकते हैं कि उनको किस क्षेत्र में लॉजिस्टिक की ज़रूरत है और वो अपनी हिसाब की लॉजिस्टिक को चयन करके और उससे कांटेक्ट करके आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। तो इस ऐप का भी निश्चित रूप से बहुत फ़ायदा इस पूरे क्षेत्र में हो रहा है।
Benefits of agricultural schemes like the PM Fasal Bima Yojana are reaching the farmers, even as the focus is on increasing the number of Kisan credit card holders and linking more mandis to eNAM. While 585 mandis have been linked to eNAM till 1st May, the number is likely to reach 685, and in May itself, the government plans to take the number to 1000.
आने वाले कल में भी अगर हम देखेंगे तो ध्यान में आएगा कि जो मौसम का अनुमान है उसको दृष्टिगत रखते हुए आने वाली फसल भी अच्छी होगी, यह विश्वासपूर्वक कहा जा सकता है। दलहन का उत्पादन भी 14-15 में 17.20 मिलियन टन था, अब 23 मिलियन टन हो गया है।
Farmers welcome the relaxation from lockdown restrictions for agriculture and allied activities by the government and point to how the farming community is observing precautions like social distancing and wearing face covers. With inputs from Dheeraj Kumar in New Delhi, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
The country's farm sector is functioning smoothly despite COVID-19 lockdown, and there will not be much impact on its growth in the current fiscal, unlike other sectors. Niti Aayog has said that farm sector growth is estimated to be 3% in 2020-21 fiscal, despite the prevailing adverse circumstances. The forecast of good southwest monsoon, sufficient water levels in reservoirs, increase in Kharif zone areas, rise in offtake of fertilizers and seeds are the factors that are in favor of farm sector growth. Here's more.
The Niti Aayog has reassured the nation that notwithstanding the gloomy predictions for the economy by many international experts, the agriculture sector will rise to the occasion in these critical times and render a strong support to the entire economy. Niti Aayog member Ramesh Chand has said that the sector will have at least 3% growth rate this year, which is much higher than the corresponding figures in the last year. He added that agricultural sector will alone give a push of 0.5 to the growth rate of Indian economy.
In case of agriculture, things are happening, and with that kind of growth, you will find that agriculture alone will give something more than 0.5 to little more growth rate to Indian economy. So all those stories and forecasts that Indian economy is going to shrink, I think that will not hold, mainly because support of agriculture is so strong. Share of agriculture in Indian economy is 17%. This is higher than even manufacturing. Agriculture is the largest sector of India's economy, despite so much growth of services and manufacturing and like that. We can expect that in this otherwise gloomy picture due to the environment prevailing in India and across globe, we can expect this sector that as always during these difficult and distressing time, agriculture will rise to the occasion and play its role as usual in giving a normal growth to Indian economy.
Niti Aayog also shared the reason for this exuberance, giving details of the outlook for the agriculture sector. It outlined that many factors are in favor of a blockbuster agricultural season. The first of them is prediction of a normal monsoon season this year.
Agriculture, as you all know, that performance of agriculture depends largely on monsoon, and we have got a very good news that this year monsoon will be normal. So that gives us a strong reassurance that as far as agriculture sector is concerned, one big worry that what will be behavior of monsoon, that is gone, and with normal kind of monsoon, we are assured to the extent of 60-70% that we are going to have everything normal in agriculture.
Apart from that, the situation of water in reservoirs also give assurance. According to different estimates, water available in India's various reservoirs is 40 to 60% higher than the corresponding figure at the same time last year. Offtake of fertilizer during the month of April is also reassuring. It is more than 5% than the corresponding figure last year. Last year, the offtake in the month of April was 12.86 lakh tons, while the figures till 28th of April this year is 13.5 lakh tons. According to the estimates, if 2 more days of sales are taken into account, the increase will go up to 8%. Similarly, the sale of quality seeds has also gone up by 20% as against the corresponding figures last year. The figures of sale of milk across the nation also present a same reassuring picture that production and sale of milk has not slowed down despite the COVID-19 restrictions. So despite the outlook given by many, Indian farmers have again risen to the occasion and with their hard work provided a reassurance that the granaries will remain packed and food grains, and COVID-19 fight has not weakened their resolve to give the best to the nation. Newsnight Desk, DD India.
And that brings us to our In Focus tonight, which is Agriculture Overcomes Lockdown Odds. And to talk about that, we have with us Sanjeev Lal, who is member CII, National Council on Agriculture, joining us, and Dr. Tajamul Haq, who's former chairman CSCP, is also with us. I'll come to you, Dr. Haq, if you're with us on the phone line. Dr. Haq, I wanted to ask you that what do you make of these encouraging agricultural trends that the government spoke about today, with an increase in Kharif sowing of around 38% compared to last year? Besides that, 88% harvesting is completed and the food grain production target is expected to be exceeded this year.
Minister is right, and we need not worry about what is happening in the food and agriculture sector as far as production is concerned. In fact, this year we are expecting about 292 million tons of food grain production, including cereals and pulses, about 320 million tons of fruits and vegetables, another 20 million tons of meal, and 15 million tons of fish production. So all these sub-sectors of the food grain production or food production, I think we are much in excess than what we really need. So production-wise, I think we have no problem at all. And even in the stock-wise, if you see, FCI as on today has a stock of more than 50 million tons of rice and wheat, and another 35 million to 38 million tons we are going to add through this procurement of wheat in the Rabi season. And Rabi harvesting, as you know, is moving so far smoothly,
yes,
excepting in Punjab and Haryana, where they have scientifically rescheduled the whole thing for certain regions due to the COVID problem. But in all,
right, Dr. Haq, hold your thoughts. There's some news which is important that has just come in, and that is that new guidelines have been released by the Ministry of Home Affairs. COVID-19 guidelines have been released, and the Ministry of Home Affairs has released these guidelines to fight COVID-19, and they come into effect from the 4th of May. These guidelines shall give considerable relaxations to many districts, and according to the Home Ministry, the details regarding this shall be communicated in the days to come. The Ministry for Home Affairs held a comprehensive review meeting on the lockdown situation on Wednesday. There has been tremendous gains and improvement in the situation due to the lockdown till now. To ensure that these gains are not squandered away, the Home Ministry has said that the lockdown guidelines should be strictly observed till the 3rd of May. To talk about that, we have with us our reporter tracking all the details, Sudhakar Das. Sudhakar, so shall we now wait for the 4th of May to know what kind of relaxations would kick in from then?
जी बिल्कुल, देखिए काफी अहम है, दो काफी महत्वपूर्ण चीजें हैं मुनमुन। आज गृह मंत्रालय में एक हाई लेवल रिव्यू मीटिंग था जो पूरी लॉकडाउन की स्थिति है उसकी पूरी समीक्षा की गई, और समीक्षा के बाद ये एक दिशा निर्देश जारी किया गया कि 3 मई तक प्रभावी तरीके से सख्ती के साथ इस लॉकडाउन को जारी रखना है, क्योंकि काफी कंसिडरेबल गेन्स कहा जा रहा है। स्थिति कई इलाकों में इम्प्रूव हुई है, ऐसे इलाकों की भी संख्या बढ़ी है जहां केसेस 2 हफ्ते या 3 हफ्ते या 4 हफ्ते से नहीं आ रहे हैं। तो इस कंसिडरेबल गेन्स की वजह से लॉकडाउन का जो फायदा हो रहा है उसको जारी रखने के लिए सख्ती से पालन करना जरूरी है। लेकिन इसके साथ ही साथ ये ऐलान हुआ है कि जो नए कोई कुछ गाइडलाइंस जल्द ही होम मिनिस्ट्री जारी करेगा अगले 2-3 दिनों में। आपको याद होगा कि पिछले जो कंसोलिडेटेड गाइडलाइंस 15 अप्रैल को जारी किए गए थे और उसमें कई अहम कामों को करने की छूट दी गई थी। कई अहम इंडस्ट्रीज को खासतौर से रूरल अर्थव्यवस्था को चलाने के लिए छूट दी गई थी। वो दिशा निर्देश ये कहा जा रहा है कि अगले 1-2 दिनों में जारी कर दिया जाएगा, लेकिन वो प्रभावी 4 मई से प्रभावी होंगे। तो ये काफी महत्वपूर्ण खबर है। लेकिन दूसरी उसमें ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण खबर ये है कि ये संकेत भी और ये संदेश भी गृह मंत्रालय ने दिया है कि जो नए जिले हैं, नए इलाके हैं, नए क्षेत्र हैं, उनके लिए रिलैक्सेशन बढ़ाया जा सकता है, उनके लिए रिलैक्सेशन बढ़ेगा। तो ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण खबर है, ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण सूचना है। मनमोहन
Sudhakar, the government has since the very beginning been following a graded approach as far as tackling COVID-19 is concerned. Are we going to see more of that from the 4th of May? You're telling us that in the next few days we expect guidelines to set in. Does it seem more or less clear that the government has decided that the restrictions would be there in areas which are, say, orange zones or red zones, and maybe green zones would see relaxations going forward? Is that the indication that you are getting?
जी बिल्कुल, देखिए मुझे जहां तक समझ में आ रहा है ऐसे जिले 300 से ज्यादा जिले हैं जो ग्रीन जोन में है, जहां केसेस नहीं है, जहां केसेस पिछले 3-4 हफ्तों से नहीं आए हैं। तो निश्चित तौर पर इस संदेश का सीधा मतलब है रिलैक्सेशंस बढ़ाए जाएंगे, नए इलाकों में ज्यादा छूट दी जाएगी। इसका सीधा मतलब है कि जो अर्थव्यवस्था है, जो पूरा तंत्र है, उसको सुचारू तरीके से चलाने के लिए ये अहम पहल की जाएगी। ऑरेंज जोन में निश्चित तौर पर कुछ रिस्ट्रिक्शंस के साथ कुछ चीजों में छूट दी जा सकती है, लेकिन ये एक स्पेकुलेशन है, इंतजार करना पड़ेगा गाइडलाइंस का। लेकिन ये बार बार कहा जा रहा है जो रेड जोन है, जो हॉटस्पॉट है, जो कंटेनमेंट जोन है, वहां अभी भी प्रतिबंध सख्ती जारी रहेगी जब तक वहां स्थितियां सुधरती नहीं है। लेकिन इसके साथ एक दूसरा पहलू भी है मनमोहन, आप देखें कि आज जो माइग्रेंट लेबर्स हो या फिर जो स्टैंडर्ड सिटीजन्स हो, जो लोग फंसे हुए हैं, स्टूडेंट्स फंसे हुए हैं, उनके लिए जो एक दिशा निर्देश आया वो भी काफी महत्वपूर्ण है। इसका संदेश ये भी है, दूसरा मतलब ये भी निकाला जा सकता है कि ये एक बड़ी समस्या थी, बहुत लोगों की ये मांग थी, तो उसको केंद्र सरकार ने सुनते हुए अलाउ किया है। तो इसका मतलब है कि जो प्रभावित इलाके हैं वहाँ जो मौजूदा स्थिति है लॉकडाउन की, वो कुछ दिन और कंटिन्यू हो सकता है और बाकी इस तरह के जो लोग हैं वो घर वापस आए। और एक तरह से ये जो, क्योंकि तुरंत ये समस्या सॉल्व होने वाली नहीं है, लेकिन जहाँ दिक्कतें नहीं है वहाँ जो एक तरह से ओपनिंग अप है वो धीरे धीरे और उसका प्रसार किया जाए, उसका दायरा और बढ़ाया जाए और ज्यादा क्षेत्रों, इंडस्ट्री को काम करने की छूट दी जाए। तो ये एक तरह का संकेत आज की मीटिंग के बाद और आज के गृह मंत्रालय के इस मैसेज से निकलता है।
Absolutely. So comprehensive review meeting was conducted by the Home Ministry, and after that it's been decided that the new guidelines will come into force from the 4th of May, and we expect to know in the next few days what those guidelines are going to be. Let's switch back to what we were discussing earlier, and that is the kind of encouraging agricultural trends that the Agriculture Ministry released today, saying that harvesting is 88% complete, and as far as Kharif sowing is concerned, there's an increase of 38%, and all this amid the lockdown. So we are asking whether agriculture has been successfully able to overcome the lockdown odds, and Dr. Haq was with us. Dr. Haq, I'll come back to you, but before that, Mr. Lal is also with us. Mr. Lal, how does the industry really look at the way the agriculture sector is performing? There is already a forecast of a normal monsoon more or less this year, and do you expect that this approach of the government towards the agriculture sector is going to boost rural demand and is going to ensure that the economic growth in fact is more or less stable, at least from the agricultural perspective?
I believe the various initiatives taken by the government have been very, very positive. The associations like the CII have been constantly in dialogue with the government on easing various constraints that were experienced ever since the lockdown was put in place. The manufacturing has slowly started coming back on stream. The logistics, which were key hindrances in terms of moving materials, in fact, the most critical was moving seeds from the southern states to the northern markets, where the season is now just about starting. So it was very important to get many of these constraints unlocked. And I must say the government has been extremely responsive to some of the issues that the industry has been raising. And overall, I think the agriculture is in a much better position than what we would have expected, let's say, a month back. There have been a lot of positive developments. The story of Indian agriculture remains positive, with a positive outlook on the monsoons as well. And with a very good Rabi and the actions being taken by the government for ensuring the harvest comes in and is getting collected and the farmers getting paid is extremely critical. The farmer must have money in his hand for him to be able to have a successful Kharif season. And the availability of fertilizer, crop protection chemicals, nutrients, farm machinery, and the most critical thing will also be on availability of farm labor, which is also going to determine how well the Kharif season plays out. So the industry is extremely positive, and the sentiment in the market is also good. We all hope for a very successful Kharif season going forward.
Absolutely, and Dr. Haq continues to be with us. Dr. Haq, you were earlier giving us more details of how the situation is more or less normal as far as agricultural operations are concerned, and that is showing in the various statistics that the government put out. Would you attribute this to the way the government acted fast to exempt agricultural operations from lockdown restrictions, because that order came on the 28th of March within a couple of days after lockdown came into force? Dr. Haq, are you with us? Okay,
what I said, that agriculture and allied activities have been exempted from the lockdown right from the very beginning.
Yes.
There were some problems in the implementation initially, but the central government has reiterated and reiterated again that this has to be implemented in toto. So I think the message has gone all over the country and things are being implemented now. Second thing I will say that as far as the food production front is concerned, we are very comfortable, the minister rightly said, and whether it is cereal, pulses, fruits, vegetables, milk, fish, anything say, we produce more than what we need at this moment. We also have a huge stock of grains, 50 million tons of grains if the FCI go down today, another 35 to 38 million tons of grains, particularly wheat, will be procured in the coming few days. So I think it will add to about 85 million tons or so. So I think we are very comfortable on the food front. Now only thing is that the supply chain should not be disrupted. The trucks movement and then the opening of shops or the mandis at the local level, that has to be ensured. And another thing I should say at this moment, that this COVID has also given us an opportunity, I should say, of implementing some of the pending reforms. Like in the existing mandis, if they are not able to operate properly, private markets or private purchases should be allowed of agricultural produce. So that will also ensure timely marketing of the produce and also timely availability of income in the hands of the farmers. So I think this will help. Similarly, land leasing reform. The government has announced or already given some kind of advance payment under PM Kisan. But still, I think a lot of tenant farmers are excluded from this because tenancy is not recognized, and as a result, I think they are not getting the benefit of it. So I think land leasing reform, already Niti Aayog has a model land leasing act. If this is implemented by the state governments, I think this will help also the tenant farmers to access all the benefits of DBT or support services provided by the government. And thirdly, I will say, in the context of migrant workers, I think this is a very good decision by the government today, saying that this should be allowed to go back home with proper care and facilities. But then this will help, rejuvenate the rural economy. Why I say this? Because they have a major role to play when we are opening up the construction activities, Manregas to come, and these people can participate in those activities and will not only earn for themselves, also create demand for the whole economy to, for the other sectors. So I think this is going to contribute. Apart from that, if they just stay where they are, there is an issue in the sense, whatever income they have earned so far, that has, or whatever saving they had, they have